You ready?
Ready.
Hello, I'm Greg Panelli, and welcome to 1 Degree Podcast.
Ooh, that was good. What do you think about the
I like the
setup here, man, with all
of the man cave, the couch, the
we
jerseys.
got Kenny's jersey, Kenny. I don't see no.
We need a
shout out to Big Sue for getting all these done for me.
Yeah, they're actually going to be taken down because we got to paint these white walls to make us look good.
We need to do like a Tyson wall over there, just one wall with maybe a couple gloves, maybe a couple jerseys.
So I'm going to put like racks, right? Like a bar, and then have hangers with all the jerseys that we get and put them on them.
That's what you had.
And if you do a bar, then you can do like the Mexican League sponsored beer, lights on the back or something like that. Shout out to Tyson. We'll just that'll be your corner with a bar.
I'm involved in this, huh?
Why not, man?
It's cool. It's all right.
I wear a jersey every day, though.
Baseball season's coming to an end. They're in the playoffs. Football season's starting.
Yep.
We got the man, Greg Panelli, quarterback coach. Greg Panelli, Panelli Passing Academy.
Quarterback guru.
No, not the guru.
Sneaky, you kind of are. We didn't get to talk about this last time. This is your second time on the pod. First time it was you and Tyler Bray talking quarterbacks. You were kind of just like his assistant. So now we brought you back. Full guest. Now you can actually tell us how this started. And
how much better you are than Bray.
Yeah. At a lot of things.
Yeah.
Maybe not quarterbacking, but yeah, I started. Obviously, I played football. I started back really with this thing in 2013, kind of as a side gig. I was working in sports for a little bit once I graduated. Played football at Eastern Washington, then left to a smaller school. Realized I wasn't going to make it to the NFL. Tore my ACL, MCL, meniscus, and then called it quits. Then I worked in sports, did the arena football thing, doing sales and marketing for the San Jose SaberCats, and then worked for the University of Oregon, doing sales and marketing for football, baseball, basketball there, and that was like Chips last year. Mariota's, I think it was his freshman year. Wasn't making very much money. Ended up meeting my wife through a mutual friend, and then realized that if I wanted to be with her, then I'd probably have to move back home. So Fresno was like the closest big city to Fireball, which is where she's from. And then found a job here, and then I've been here since. But in the meantime, 2013, I started working with some of the local high school guys back where I went to school. And then started doing stuff with some of the guys here. Was part-time with it for about 4.5 years. And then finally I just got tired of working for somebody else and went full-time with it. Like early 2018, went full-time with it. And it was tough for a while. Started slow. I remember stressful days. We had just had our son. And then was probably, I would say, 5 to 6 quarterbacks maybe, doing group sessions. And then I would do some one-on-ones, and obviously prices were a lot less just because I was trying to start this thing. And then I would say right in 2019, I was stressing pretty hard. I went and did my substitute teaching test, and I was going to start subbing just on the side. And then right when I got the test results, like it passed, and I was going to start looking for sub jobs just to stay busy during the day, like business started taking off. I don't know if it was like fate or God telling me that things are going to be all right, but it took off. And then 2020, the kids were out of school all the time because of the COVID stuff, so they weren't really in school. And then that's when it really got crazy. It was almost like 7 days a week of training and on the field, and it's the complete grind for almost like a year and a half. It was a blur. And then things have been rolling since.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing people like flying from Texas and everything to come work with you, like, which is crazy because it's like you would have never known about Greg Panelli in Fresno if it wasn't for Instagram. Right? It's like such a like blessing and a curse too. Yeah, like, the whole social media part of business now, right?
Yeah,
like because that's like really how you got your name, like,
for sure.
Up.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of Instagram and putting these videos out there and showing kids that like there is help out there that you can like look for and go to, just like scrolling on Instagram.
No, I think back to I mean, like the Craigslist days. Like, imagine doing what you guys are doing, or imagine trying to do the quarterback training thing by word of mouth. Like, no MySpace or no Facebook or no Instagram, no Twitter. But it's changed the game, because that's what drives business now. The real estate stuff, you're doing the real estate stuff, like you're able to post listings on and walkthroughs and open houses, and that's like the marketing tool. And if it was gone tomorrow, like that's the stuff I think about. Like if it was gone tomorrow, what would, how would everybody function, or what would things be like? And I feel like, you can go back to the old emailing days, because that's what I did when I first started. I wasn't popping on Instagram or Twitter. I've looked back and I still have emails to high school coaches like, this is what I'm doing. This is who I've trained. This is what I charge. Would love to work with some of your guys. And I still have some of the responses from coaches that thought they were like big time coaches and hit me back with, no, we're good. We don't need any quarterback training, or we don't need any help, or our guys here got it. And then a couple years later, the same guys are hitting you up, and it's nice.
Makes you feel pretty good.
Yeah, I keep the receipts, and I've got to the point now where I just tell them to kick rocks. Really, I don't need the extra BS. Like, I don't need that business. If I didn't want it, like, I don't have to take that stuff. Back when I first started, I probably would have and just put my pride down. But yeah, overall, it's been really good. Partnering up with Dave and those guys at AP has been a great tool to have. Meeting dudes like you guys there, ton of other pro athletes that come through there, and just trying to pick bits and pieces from everybody and their journey along the way, and how to do things right, and what you like and what you don't like. And just honestly, it's day by day. Things are changing with quarterback training and the portal, and I'm sure we'll probably jump into some of that stuff, but trying to stay relevant is the biggest thing, and putting out content. Like, I never used to think putting out content on social media was going to be like a job or a chore. And there's times where you take videos of these quarterbacks all day, and then I sit at the kitchen table at night for 45 minutes to try and make a reel or put something together, and this clip looks good and this one doesn't, and then you're sending guys these clips, and this is what you should have done different on this and that. And yeah, that's become a job in itself, trying to stay relevant on Instagram.
And does it like affect you? Like, oh, I just spent like 45 minutes putting this reel together, and it gets like 30.
Yeah, like it doesn't pop off the same as some other ones, and it's so weird, like trying to find the algorithm, right? Like, I used to get paid for reels on Instagram, and I thought I would have taken advantage of it more, because there was one reel that I had of Cruz Herrera, and I posted it again a couple weeks ago just because, and it's jumping off again. But the first time I ever posted, it got like 1.5 million views, and it really, like, I posted it, and then 2.5 weeks later, I started seeing all these follows and likes come through. So like 2.5 weeks later, after I posted it, it started jumping off, and then I did it again a year later, and I remember I was going to Kentucky for a pro day, and all of a sudden my phone starts going crazy again. And 3 weeks after I posted that reel, and I was getting paid for those reels at the time, so it got up to like 300,000 views, and Instagram sends me a message like, hey, like, this is against the policy, you can't monetize off of this video. And it got up to 5.5 million views, and I wasn't making money on that one. But it was ironic that all the other ones that are like under 20,000, I was making money, but that one that started jumping and going crazy, I would have made a couple $1,000 off of that one video.
Their policy?
No clue.
No reason.
No clue. Maybe because I used a song but it was like an Instagram type of song. I don't even know what the deal was. But then, of course, like, there's no customer service that you can directly talk to. But that one went off, and then I posted it again a couple weeks ago, like a year later. It's this kid throwing just like a 75-yard bomb, and it's weird trying to find the stuff that people like. And I think what I've seen is people like more informational stuff. Like, if you're going to coach a lineman and you're going through lineman drills, cool. Everybody, some people are going to tap it and comment on it, whatever. You get the kid to share it. But then there's, hey, I'm going to teach a kid how to kick step, or we're getting double A gap pressure, and you're the center, and this is what you got to do, as far as like giving that information and putting it out there. It becomes something that those are the people that start saving it. There's people that start sharing it, and they like more of the informational pieces or the drill related stuff versus just some kids out there on the field just throwing bombs left and right.
Some that they can actually learn versus just like an entertaining video. Because entertaining videos, if people watch them, it has potential to blow up. But if they save it or they share it or they send it to their friend, like, hey, here's a drill we can do, or their dad saves it.
That's what it is. I think it's a lot of parents and coaches and things like that are sending them back and forth. Because, like, I have a videographer come out and make these cool videos, and it's like the mixtape, right? And then they put the music to it and the slow-mos and this and that, and it's like, okay, this gets a certain amount of views, a certain amount of likes, and some shares, and then you put like a basic video that you did with your phone that's 10 seconds, and that one blows up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, why am I spending money on the other stuff when it's that simple?
If you get people to comment and share it and be involved in it, it's going to get pushed, right?
Yeah,
like the one where I made a video of you and I was just talking, can Kenny hit a home run? And people just go and comment if he can or can't, and you were the ones that said that he can't.
I know. I almost went back and deleted my comment on that too. I was gonna say I apologize.
Public apology online.
I apologize.
For what though? What are you apologizing?
I was hating.
Yeah. You don't have to apologize. Like, you can say that you were wrong and give him his props. But you don't have to apologize.
Let me explain here. So the first video I saw of you at AP, and I think you were hitting off the tee. Right when I saw the first swing, I'm like, dude, there's no way.
Swing like still isn't good.
No, but here's the thing. I saw the first day, and I'm like, no way. And then the day I think you guys were going, did you go get BP at AP? I saw the second video of you swinging. I'm like, wait a second. Like, I kind of wanted to pull back on my comment because the swing looked better already. And then by that point, it was too late, and I'm sitting there all morning. I kept on checking the story to see if you actually got a home run, and then sure enough, you did. And then I called him after. And then he said he did it with a metal bat, and I'm like, okay, well, did he do it with a wood bat? And he said he did it with a wood bat, so I couldn't talk any shit to you about that. So I apologize.
The wood went farther than the metal.
He's saying the wood had some serious pop to it, so I give you props. I do give you props. I would have liked to be in on that. I haven't swung a bat in I don't know how long. Since COVID, I think, and I broke a wood bat at AP, and I still haven't replaced it. Sorry, Dave. I pulled a wood bat off to the side, and we hit like 200 balls in the cage. Nobody was there. The lights were off, and then like nobody could be seen downtown, and we were just standing in there just beating the hell out of baseballs. And then finally, like the bat gave out. It was like a big 5 Louisville Slugger, probably $40 bat. But sorry, Dave.
That's the great thing about knowing the owner and being a professional athlete. Kenny can do whatever he wants in there. I mean, he's the biggest guy on the wall.
He is the biggest guy on the wall.
Godzilla.
And it's funny that you guys are both on the wall. And initially, when they did the AP Fit thing, I got hell for getting a damn award from both of you guys. Yeah. And then the graphics dude that Dave hit me up for, the graphics guy that does some of my stuff, and he has me send all the stuff to this dude. So my guy made it, the graphic of you guys on the wall. And then Dave wanted to do an AP Fit side, and he's like, send me some pictures. I'm going to have you like in the middle from your little transformation. So you guys make the wall. My graphics dude makes it. I'm not even up on the damn wall. Did all the background work and hook up Dave, and I'm not even on the damn wall. So, but it is every time my son.
Do you want to be on the wall?
No. At this rate, I don't want to be on the wall.
Me and Tyson had a little like plan. We were gonna get to like that fat face picture of you in like college.
There you go.
And we're gonna put you like in that little square that was like right there by the door. We should have done.
No, I'm not. I don't think I'm gonna make the wall. Dave knows if he puts me on the wall, he'll never hear the end of it. That's why.
You were on the outside, though. You were on the outside.
I was. My logo was on the outside.
City came through and was like, hey, take that shit down.
Take it down. Everybody. We paid $400 for somebody to come paint on the wall, and then our logos got removed. But no, AP has been a huge blessing, I think, probably to all of us. So
for sure.
Yeah, shout out to those guys.
Yeah. As much shit as I give Dave, like
he's earned it, though. Like thing is, people don't realize, like, if we are ourselves and talk crap and give people a hard time, it's because we're comfortable with them. We like them. We're like opened up to them.
Yeah, if I'm not talking shit to you, there's a problem. I probably don't like you. If I don't feel comfortable around you.
If I don't like you, I'm nice to you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not that we don't like them. It's you're not our boy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like when you're friends and you're comfortable around them, that's what you'll get.
For sure.
Which some people, they might not understand the sarcasm, or they might think that you're a dick, but we're not. We all try to be super nice guys, but if you're around us and we're giving you shit,
Yep.
we like you. So just
When I first met Kenny, I used to think Kenny was like the biggest asshole. I even text Dave off to the side. I'm like, dude, what's his deal, man?
Really?
And I'm like,
he's
he's
so
like, no,
cool.
he's like that. Because I thought Bray, shout out to Tyler, I thought Bray was like the biggest ass when I first met him. And I'm like the new quarterback coach in town. I was training McMarion at the time and Keyshawn and those guys were out there with us. And I saw Bray and his brother on the field, and Bray's doing his own thing. And I'm like, yeah, he's too big time. He's not going to train with me. And then Dave talked to him one day, and I watched Bray throw, and I knew Bray was getting to that point in his career. I'm like, look, there's going to be these young guys that are coming out of college that just happen to look a little bit sexier. They're throwing better. Like they're just more mechanically developed. But Bray was always the guy that processed information well. His size was good. He had been in the league. So he's one of those guys that was going to hang around. But I knew at some point or another, the tide's going to change. And so I told Dave that I think Bray could do X, Y, and Z a little bit better. And then Bray bought into it, and we changed his throwing mechanics. But, yeah, when I first met him, I'm like, this guy's an arrogant asshole. I thought Kenny, I was like, but rightfully so. Like, you guys have earned it.
What about me? That was nice, right?
Yeah, you were. For the most part, you were. Like, I got the shit talk out of you. Like, I knew. Well, I always just thought baseball players were assholes, anyways. And I'm sure maybe Kenny thought that at one point or another. But, like, in college, like, the football players, I felt like the football players in college hated the baseball players, and probably vice versa.
Oh, I loved our baseball team.
But your guys' baseball team was the ballers. So, like, what were you going to say at that point?
That's true.
Yeah,
They were the ones that were running the show back then, right?
True, yeah.
No offense, but they were, and good for them. But yeah, it's the baseball guys are just different. I feel like they're different.
Yeah,
they do come off a little arrogant sometimes.
Dang,
but I got love for all the baseball guys.
I thought I was nice to you. I didn't know you didn't like me.
No, I liked you. I just thought you didn't like me. I don't know. Maybe it was like, who's this freaking quarterback coach that thinks he knows this, and this, and I'm playing with Phillip Rivers and Matt Stafford in the league. Like, this guy can kick rocks. But I think Kenny, maybe I just started, yeah, exactly, right? But I just started dishing it back to Kenny, and then I feel like here we are now.
That's the best way to get all my good graces, to talk shit back to
and then finally, like, enough shit talk to Kenny, and I was feeling spicy one day, so I was talking shit to him. And then he hit me with a Google me. I'll never forget that. That was a couple of years ago.
you gotta watch
Kenny hits me with a Google me, and I'm like, all right, buddy, let me Google your ass.
Do it now, and then you look. Who's this fat guy?
Yeah.
Who is this? Like,
Yeah, that was a few years ago. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, all right, buddy, you got me there.
See,
what am I really gonna do? I don't need to Google you.
Yeah, when I get to that point where it's just like, I never want to take it to that point, but sometimes I have to.
I was talking some shit. We were going back and forth. I don't even know what it was about, but that he knew I couldn't have a comeback for that. So
exactly.
I was like,
that's why I don't like getting to that point.
Yeah,
the other day. This was probably like a month ago. There was a quote written up on the whiteboard, a pretty good quote. It didn't say who it was from, so I went up there and I wrote Greg Panelli.
at AP?
Yeah.
I do write a quote. It seems like every week. Like, there's most of those quotes up there. I'll write them at some point or another.
Dang, I was
Oh,
right.
wow, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's pretty good.
I write them usually, but there's sometimes where I forget to write the person that actually said the quote, or I'll find it on like an Instagram motivational page and they don't put the source on there, so I just write it up there. But you're spot on with it.
Yeah, AP's really helped a lot of people. Like Dave's somebody that started from his garage training people, multiple buildings. We give him shit. We're never going to give him credit, right? But he is one of the smartest people when it comes to getting stronger and helping in your specific sport, right? Like, we would work out together. Baseball players, football players, even like some other sports would come and we would train together, but we would all be like specific workouts catered to a pitcher, catered to a pitcher that has velo, catered to a pitcher that needs velo, right? So that's what he's very good at. And sorry, go ahead.
I was say, or cater to like that individual person too. Like,
yeah.
Like, I could be doing something totally different than another lineman, but it's like it's catered to my like physical like limitations or abilities or whatever, right? So like that's what's one thing I really liked about it. It was no cookie cutter stuff. It was like, hey, I know your bunion's hurt, do this instead of doing lunges, like that kind of thing. Like,
there's a ton of things with quarterback training. Like, if I get a kid that first starts, with me, or he's been with me for a while, and there's some deficiencies. Dave's not necessarily like the quarterback mechanical guy, but rotational athletes are very similar. As you know, you played quarterback back in the day, but like hitting and pitching and boxing, like all of that stuff, all rotational guys it's all the same. Like the hips got to go first and the arm's going to chase. And so I'll have Dave come out and like, hey, look at this guy. And he'll, within a couple of throws, be able to tell me like, where's this guy's got tight lats and that's why he's doing this. Or his hips are tight, and puts them on their back and measure their hips and then gives them some sort of drill. So like I pick a ton from him constantly asking him questions, and I want to know more. And I feel like the more that I know now that, I'm not just working with younger guys, but some of the pro guys and some of the college guys, is being able to give them little bits and pieces. And I think that's the biggest thing for the pros is you guys do, as pro athletes, you guys do the big things, or like you guys do the obvious things you're supposed to do really well. But you're better than everybody else. And I've noticed this over the years, like the pro guys, the difference between pro guys and dudes in college, or the dudes that are, in high school, whatever. Pro guys do the little things just a little bit better than everybody else. And it starts to add up, and they stack and stack and stack. And you just like, yeah, there might be a guy that's way stronger at some point or another than Kenny, playing on the O-line, that has all the speed in the world. But Kenny does the little fundamental things just a little bit better, so he's not going to get beat to the outside as much. Or, you're on the mound and yeah, you can throw 92 miles an hour, and there's a kid that can throw 99, but he can't paint, the corners. But he might blow by somebody, but he's walking 4 or 5 guys every time he's out there. But you just do the little things just a little bit better. And that's what I try and preach to these guys. Like the pro guys eat up the little shit. The high school guys, they want to do all the cool shit they see on Instagram, and the young kids, they want to do all this running around instead of the slow things. Let's start out slow. Let's do the mechanical stuff first. Let's be good and as clean as possible, and then let's do all the other stuff. Versus let's just warm up, screw the arm exercises, screw the hips, screw everything else, and let's just go out there and throw the ball around. Like what are we doing at this point? And I'd be stealing people's money at that rate too. So that's my thing for the young guys, is just do the little things better, just a little bit better than everything else or everybody else, and you're going to get a lot further in life, I think.
How much of, now talking about the quotes and working with Dave, and a little bit more than just throwing, for you working with kids, now you're working with high school kids, you work with guys at the pro level, college guys, but for kids, let's say 12 to 18, right? How much of your training now is like on the physical side, and then also, on the mental side? Because you guys do look at tape, you break down all that stuff, how to, keep calm under pressure, everything that goes into being a quarterback, right? Because you don't teach how to throw, you teach them how to be a quarterback, right? You have to audible, you have to know protections, you have to know coverages. How much of your training now has been on the mental side as well as the physical side?
There's a few things that we've done, like camps wise, it's a little bit easier just because we can get into a location. Maybe it's out of school. Maybe I've done a few at AP where part of it, like I had Tyler Bray come, and we did 45 minutes of like physical, hips, arm care, exercises, workouts, like what stuff should be quarterback type of workouts versus just any football related workout. And then we did like an hour and 30-minute throwing session, and then I brought him in and we did stuff on the whiteboard, protections, pressures, where's it coming from, like what do the numbers look like on one side versus the other side. Then we watched some film, then we went back on the field, and I try and touch on it at least a couple times a month when we're out there on the field. Like I'll put everybody on a line, and then I'll take some of the receivers, some of the quarterbacks, and put a coverage or a front out there. And I haven't done it as much lately, but it's something that I want to get back to, just because that's huge. Like people talk about like the Brock Purdy thing. Is he elite quarterback? Is he not? What makes quarterbacks elite is not, in my opinion, like the arm talent and the cool throws and the sidearm stuff. Like that's all good. But it's like, it goes back to the pitchers. Like how many guys out there can throw 95, but they can't throw anything off speed, and it's cheddar coming down the middle. Like 95 at that level, at the pro level, is just another pitch. Like everybody can almost do that. At some point, somebody on everybody's roster can do that. But just like somebody on every NFL team can whip the hell out of the ball. But if I can get up there and process information, which is the biggest part of playing football, even for linemen, you can block everybody, but if you can't process the front and process where the pressure is coming from and be able to set protections and know and communicate with everybody else, you're going to be freaking dead. Like quarterbacks have to be able to get up there and lead and then process very quickly and then make sure everybody's in the right spot. And that stuff starts, I didn't know those things, but it starts really, you could say middle school, but it's starting in high school at the varsity level, especially around here where football is pretty competitive. And then going into your first year of college, no matter how much you know in high school, going into your first year of college is just completely different. Like you step in there fall camp and it's like your brain is scattered for 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, even longer, even into the whole season. It's just scattered because they're teaching you your ways and you're seeing a lot more exotic fronts and coverages and pressure situations are way different. They have the athletes to do or to bring pressure on first, second, and third down, no matter the down and distance, because they trust the guys on the back end. So trying to just get guys to see the basics of it and not overthink it, that's probably the hardest thing. And then the ability to pull the trigger and teaching those guys, like, you can't play quarterback scared. You can't play quarterback timid. You're going to make mistakes. People are going to throw interceptions. It's part of the game. The defense also has a job to do too. And that's the thing I try to preach. Like, nobody's going to go throw 40 touchdowns and 0 picks. I haven't seen it. I can't see anybody doing it in the NFL. I can't see anybody doing it in college. It's going to happen. But to be able to get out there, see what you're seeing and trust what you're seeing and pull the trigger, and whatever happens, happens. And like, everybody's window too is going to be different. Like, there's going to be guys in the NFL where their window of open, like a receiver being open, is different. Like Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers and the elite throwers in the game, like, their window of a receiver being open is probably going to be a little bit different than Brock Purdy's window of being open. Yeah. Matt Stafford's that's a prime example. He obviously played with Matt. Like, dude's got a hose. Like, he's doing the no-look pass in a window, throwing a dig route across the middle. Like, that's ballsy. But he's got to the point where he trusts himself and the ability, and he knows. So, like, if he didn't know what the coverage was or he didn't know the certain situation, he's not doing that. He's doing it because he knows exactly what's going to happen with the defense and where they're at. And that's the biggest thing, is like, the game will slow down so much more and you'll be a lot more comfortable. So, sorry to get long-winded, but I think that you can watch as much film as you want and you can try and understand. But until you really get out there too and try and put what you see on film and then see it on the field and then draw it over and over. Like, I was the guy that had to put it in a notebook after I watched it on film, and then I had to see it again on the field and then watch the scout team run it. And like, that's how I process information. Some guys can look at it on tape and then take it straight to the field and then just roll with it. But I had to write it down 10 times and think about it.
Well, that's a prime example. Like, you, Kenny, played with 2 elite quarterbacks, 2 very, very good quarterbacks, and probably way different. Like, Matthew Stafford, talented, tough, had a rocket for an arm, and then Phillip Rivers did things a little bit different. Had that kind of weird throwing motion, didn't have the arms talent that Matthew Stafford had, but got by it in the same exact way. Very, very smart, very, very good competitor. And
like, to your point too, like, people at like the Phillip Rivers of the world, they have like their process, right, that they go through every single week, which is like, it's really eye-opening to see that. Like, he does, okay, we're on Sunday night after our game, he's on the plane doing the blitz tape for the next week. Like, he's making the blitz tape. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he wanted to pick up protections more than he wanted to throw touchdown passes. Yep. And like, my last year there, like, we were one of the best O-lines in the league, had no like business being top O-line in the league. We gave up 18 sacks in the whole entire year. And
Holy smokes.
And we had a rookie and 2 undrafted free agents, both guards and center. But like, that was because of Phil. It wasn't because of us. Yeah. Like, it was because he was putting us in like the best possible situations to make his job easier and better to throw down the field and be protected and everything like that.
And he got rid of the ball quick.
Exactly. So it's the preparation and the amount of like reps that he's had at it too, because he was in year 14, 15 or whatever it was, and just the amount of just turnkey preparation, right? So he just knew exactly what he had to do every single week. Nothing changed, win or lose, tie, everything was the exact same.
Yep.
And that's the process that I feel like kids at a young age can grow and get there earlier, right?
Right.
Which you're trying to do, and you're trying to explain to them this is how the elite guys work, because when I was in high school, I wasn't looking at safeties. I was okay, there's a DN, I gotta block him, right? Now I'm trying to when I train kids, I'm trying to see the bigger picture, right? See the whole entire defense, see the whole entire the picture, down and distance. All this stuff comes into play when you're getting ready for the ball to get snapped.
Right.
So all that stuff is great for a high school kid to even start thinking about, right?
Yep.
Because I know high school is super vanilla compared to the NFL, but it doesn't hurt to start.
No,
it doesn't hurt to put a little bit more on your plate when you're younger to kind of to grow and say, okay, if I see this safety rolling over here, that means somebody's going to come off, pressure's going to come this way. So it's okay, then it's now I have to be cautious. This I can drift a little bit to the left and then throw the ball this way. It's just little things that they could see earlier in their career to help them become more successful. Right.
And I look back at some of the stuff that I didn't know in high school. It was winging it. You focus on one guy on defense and you're oh, dude, they got a superstar DN. And you're worried about the DN when that's, as a quarterback, it should be the last thing that you're really worried about. And then I get into college and I gray shirted my first year at MJC. And I remember just a couple of weeks into it, thanking God that I wasn't playing because I was so far behind. I was not ready. And then going into my first year starting there, it was night and day difference. And now I look back at some of my notes I still have from Eastern Washington and from even junior college. I'm dude, I don't remember knowing this stuff back in the day. And it was protections and fronts and all these different exotic coverages. And it's I've forgotten because I haven't done it in so long. That's why sometimes when he comes and does the draft prep stuff or he's working with O-lineman or Bray, I sit down and pay attention because I used to know some or a lot of this stuff, not all of it, obviously, because it's way more extensive at the level they played at. But I just sit down and I try and be a fly on the wall to pick it up because no matter what level, the defenses are going to change, the fronts are going to change, they're going to do different stuff. Now everybody's doing that 7-man or 6-man stand up and nobody has their hand in the ground and they're trying to show different
radar.
Stuff. Yeah.
We call that radar.
Yeah, so they'll all move around and then then they all just 2 or 5 guys come and then 2 drop off or whatever. But the situations, the down and distance, things like that stuff's never going to change in football. And if you know where your outlets are and you're confident in what you see and you can pull the trigger, you're going to be all right. And if you don't, you're getting a 7-man pressure, you got to drift, you got to try and create some space, throw the ball away, you live to see another down, or you got to punt the ball, whatever. But the sooner that you can start seeing those things, because at the level that, especially with college, and it's jumping in the portal stuff, is changing the recruiting game. Obviously, high school guys are not being recruited nearly as much anymore. They want guys that are coming in that they don't have to spend a ton of time on for throwing mechanics. The more you know what as far as defensive coverages, fronts and protections, the better off you're going to be, and the earlier you're probably going to see the field, depending on what the situation looks like in front of you. But when those guys come to the school, now they most of the time they'll come in when they're recruiting you, they're going to come to the school. College coach will show up to the school and talk to your coach, talk to maybe a counselor, talk to a couple of your teachers, see if you're a piece of crap in class or not. And then they'll have you come into the coach's office and they'll put you up on the board and say, draw me your 3 favorite offensive plays and walk me through your progressions. And then draw me this coverage. And I want you, and if you can't get up there and do it, that's going to be a huge red flag. Probably because the guy down the street's going to be able to do it. And if he can't, then they're going to go find 15 to 20 others that they're going to recruit in the same spot. They can do the exact same thing that you can. That's probably the same size, or maybe they're a little bit stronger, faster. So you got to be ready when the coaches come, when the time calls. You got to be ready. So it's not just things that you're doing on the field. And that's what I tell guys. You can be with me for an hour and a half on the field, but if you're not doing a ton of the little stuff at home, the extra stuff at home, YouTube's available. You can look it up on your phone. You have a question about a coverage? Ask me. If not, YouTube it. There's going to be 500 videos on, Tampa 2, a 3-4 Tampa 2. There's going to be 500 videos on cover 3 cloud. You can figure it out. It's just how far do you really want to go with it?
And it's like consistency too, right? Like you talked earlier about like the little things, right? Doing the little things, like fall in love with the little things.
Yep.
And it's like also being consistent with those little things too.
Yeah.
Because that is like the biggest key with like, I tell like all the kids that I train, and I'm like I tell you to do something, like you got to do it. Like, and you got to do it every time.
Yep.
Or we're both out here wasting our time.
Yep.
Like it could be something as little as like, stay after practice and make 10 perfect throws, whatever it is. Like you do that every single practice. That's thousands and thousands.
It's going to start adding up.
And like, that's the kind of stuff that I lived by. Like that was like my thing. Like I stayed after practice from day one of Fresno State football till the last practice of my college or my high school or NFL career, so like I was in there doing extra work every single practice. Yeah. And like year 11 in the league, and I'm like standing out there, and like the rookies are like walking in, and then the coach is looking at me like, okay, like this guy gets it.
It's a lot more competitive now at the college level to get a scholarship, like because these kids are getting paid, right?
Yeah, and so what's really, I think Dion said it a couple weeks ago. He said in all reality, they're probably going to take, what is it on scholarship, 15, 20 scholarships per year? I forget the number. I don't know.
It's around 20.
It's like 20 scholarships a year or something like that. I should know that. You would think I would. So
wait, so they have less scholarships now?
No, per year. So I think it's 85 total.
I think 85 scholarships.
85 scholarships as a whole
per year,
per program.
Pretty much the whole team.
Yeah, for the whole program. And so it's like roughly like 20 or 18 a year, whatever the hell it is. And so he said this upcoming year they're probably going to take 4 high school guys. And the rest are going to come from the portal.
So what is the
crazy.
Portal? Is it pretty much like a draft?
Anybody can go anywhere. If you're a college player, you can enter the portal and you can go anywhere you want.
It's basically free agency.
Yeah.
So you sign, like back when I went to school, and when Kenny went to school, like back when you were coming out of high school, I was at Eastern Washington. I left to a smaller school. The reason I left to a smaller school is because if I transferred from Eastern Washington, which is FCS Division I AA, if I left to, say, Fresno State, Sac State, Montana, whatever it would have been, I had to sit out. I lost that year, and I had to sit out the next year. So it's almost like CIF transfer rules, right? Like you transfer in high school, you have to sit out 5 games. Like in college, you're sitting out the whole next year. You're burning the year. Then they changed it a few years ago. Part of it was, coaches sign on, they make $1 million 1 year, they get a raise and get to leave, and you're recruited to that college, but your coach that recruited you left. Tyler Bray is a prime example. Lane Kiffin offered him at Tennessee. He signs there. His whole family moves. They sign because he wants to play for Lane Kiffin, and then he goes into the cafeteria, like first week there, and Lane Kiffin's bouncing, and they see it on ESPN's ticker that he's going to USC. And I know his dad was hot about it, like rightfully so. So like that's kind of why I think they came up with it. But now, I don't know what they're going to do with it. I feel like it's just the wild, wild west right now. Like there's going to have to be some regulation because there's basically no limitations on how much you could transfer. Then there's not a penalty for it. So
you can play for a new school every year.
Essentially, yeah. Like I know there's a couple guys in college that have done it. The kid from USC, quarterback at USC, did it a couple years ago. Both of them, actually. The last 3 quarterbacks at USC before Caleb Williams all left. Keaton Slovis left. I forget the other kid's name. And then the starter at Ole Miss, Jackson Dart. All of them were at USC. They're all at new colleges, but 2 of them went to 4 different schools. He went to USC, then to Georgia, to Pitt, and now he's West Virginia, I think. I don't even know.
Yeah.
So 4 years, 4 different schools essentially. And now, so you can transfer, but now, and I'm not going to name names or say anything, but now you can transfer or you can be at a school. Let's say I'm at Fresno State. They're doing really well this year. They've been top 25 in the rankings. Let's say maybe a sexier school on paper, a Power 5 school. University of Georgia likes what I'm doing at Fresno State. Hey, we want you to come play for University of Georgia. We're going to give you 500 racks a year to come play here. They're getting donors. They're getting these, what is it called? Like funds or whatever the collectives. And so we want you to come because you're the superstar quarterback, and you can come to the University of Georgia and play, and we're going to pay you X amount of dollars. And you have a social media following, so you can go make another $1.5 million from the car dealerships in town, from Dr. Pepper, from Burger King, whatever the hell it may be, right? So it's crazy how much it's changed. Like, then you look at the Reggie Bush situation. Reggie Bush gets his Heisman taken away, and his parents got a house from an agent, and that's like child's play to the stuff that's going on
so
now.
Do you give him back his Heisman?
Like, he still, I don't think he doesn't have it back
like
yet.
Johnny Football did all that stuff, and
Johnny Football, like, and they came out with a TV show. Like, Reggie Bush, I feel like is nothing compared to what's going on now. And this stuff, you know, and I know, like, we've all had teammates at some point or another that was probably getting paid under the table. Everybody was kind of hush hush about it. Like, it's been going on, especially in basketball. Like, this stuff in basketball has been going on forever. Like, the one and dones, you're trying to get a kid that's not going to go to school because he's going to play basketball. The second semester is not even going to really matter.
Yep.
So he has to pass classes essentially for one semester, and then he's going to go to the NBA. Like Kentucky, you're telling me Kentucky's just getting everybody off the.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some of the stories there, but it's like this has been going on forever. I almost liked it better when it was going on under the table. I think one of the college coaches said that they liked it better when it was going on under the table, because it's you're not even dealing with the recruiting these days is not even. If a parent has a son that's getting ready to be recruited to a college or getting ready to commit, the conversation is no longer, Michigan is the number one public school in the country, and our grades or our coaching staff is this.
You're no longer talking about the program or the school.
We're not going to, we're going to raise a young man, and he's going to leave here as this, and this. It's part of that. But then the other part of it is, what can we do for your son as far as making him money, giving him opportunities, life after football, how much money he can make through the brand of wearing those yellow stripes on the helmet. And I'm just using Michigan as an example. Obviously, there's plenty of other schools, but you're playing in a major market that's on TV every single week. Mm-hmm. You're going to be worth a little bit more than the person that's playing at Fresno State or even at Stanford, Cal, whatever it may be. So it's the wild, wild west, and hopefully at some point or another it changes. But for the meantime, it's just this crazy recruiting world that everybody, I think, is still trying to get used to. And for the time being, I guess the kids, take advantage of it while you can.
Right. I mean,
like one of my quarterbacks just got a brand new truck last week. Nate Johnson's at the University of Utah. Yeah, the whole team got trucks. The whole team? Like, he just got...
the whole team got a truck?
The whole team got Dodge 1500 Bighorns with, like, that iPad-looking screen in the middle of it. And, like, they gave him the keys and said, it's a 6-month lease with insurance, and then you can't leave the state of Utah. Here's your truck. Drive it around. All of them.
The whole team.
Yeah. Brand new trucks. So then you got, like, here's the thing though, like, at some point they did this, like, there was Title IX, right? And even scholarships. Baseball, how many scholarships on baseball? Like 11 scholarships between 30 guys, 25 guys?
Yeah. 30,
so they're all spread out, right? And unless you're at Vandy or LSU or Florida or whatever it may be for baseball, those guys at the other schools aren't going to get probably the same opportunities, just because college baseball, as good as it is not bringing in the revenue that college football is on television, obviously. But the people at school, like you did Title IX, or you made up Title IX for equal opportunity for girls sports, but now you got the whole football team getting trucks. Well, what's the chick on the water polo team that nobody really knows about? What is she getting? When is one of those girls or these people on the golf team? Men's golf team. Yeah, we got our free clubs and we get our free shoes and we travel around and play golf. The guys on the men's golf team ain't getting the same opportunity as the football. And you talk about, like, income and what the football team's bringing in, and the football team usually basically carries the sports.
When is Title IX going to come back?
When is that going to say? When are they going to say, hey, you're not getting this, you're not getting that. That collective that you guys started now needs to be spread amongst. Share it. And it's going to come at some point or another. I feel like it has to.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then it goes back to, like, everybody gets the same pie, and then like, okay, now let's just raise our scholarship check. You know what I mean? So it's like everybody gets the same check now,
and they're even higher. Like then we were talking about it, like what the scholarship checks. Like mine was $2,750 every 2.5 months. Now guys get $2,750 a month.
Yeah, I got $600 for like $640 my first scholarship, like for a month.
Yeah,
and my rent was $400. And I was like, okay, sick, $200.
Yeah, so like they teach you how to grow up and budget and things like that. But yeah, it's way different these days. It's crazy. What a time to be a football player or an athlete, I guess, in general. And then you got some of the TikTokers that are making money in college sports like that. What's that girl?
Levy Dunn.
She's
making like $3.5 million.
She's making more than everybody.
How do you think this is going to affect the pro level? So you have guys like the quarterback at USC, Caleb Williams, basically saying he's making as much money in college as he would the NFL. He's only going to play for these teams. And this is going to, like, more people are going to follow suit. If you're making money, or your family has money, or you like playing at the University of Georgia or the University of Miami or Alabama, whatever it is, how is this going to affect the NFL draft? Do you think the NFL is going to have to change, or do you think the NFL is going to tell college they have to change?
I think the NFL, that's probably better question for him. I don't think the NFL, they already changed. Like the NFL had Jamarcus Russell when he came out, and that era of quarterbacks that were coming out were making more than the current NFL quarterbacks. So they had the NFLPA come through and say, we're not doing this. You're slotted. You get drafted number 1 overall. You're making what I was like 33 or 34 million. That's your dollar amount. And
because he got like what 60 million guaranteed or something,
or whatever it was. Yeah, and
because
he was making more than Peyton Manning and Brady at the time.
Because he can throw it like 70 yards from his butt or something. That's it.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like,
and then he shows up at camp 300 pounds bigger than the lineman.
Yeah, so
ate his whole signing bonus.
So like that changed already.
Yeah.
So then I think in the NFL, when you got to the league, and obviously I haven't been, but I can imagine when you get to the league, you're the rookie, you're the guy, you're like the low man on the totem pole. You got to earn your stripes, and I feel like now these guys are showing up probably a little bit more entitled, feeling like they deserve this, this, and this because I've already done this in college and I've made this much amount of money, or I've made just as much as half the guys on the roster.
Yep.
Or I'm making more than half the guys on the roster. So what do I need? Why am I going to bow down to you? Why am I going to be this? So you're going to deal with the prima donnas, and you're going to deal with those guys that feel like they're entitled over the next couple of years.
Yeah, because you have a rookie coming in that's been making more money than you.
Been making millions for the last couple of years.
They're not going to have that, instant like
I'd break their wallets so bad.
Respect for the younger guys, right?
Like, but we're going rookie dinner.
They don't have that respect for the guys because it's like how you said, like the prima donnas, they've already been doing it. I've already been making more money than you. I already have. Yes, like most of them are going to come in and be a rookie and do their job and learn because you have to, because the NFL is a totally different game. But this is going to change. Somebody coming in that's already made more money than some guys in their career.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And
how's that going to work out when you're trying to develop a team?
I can imagine these guys. You could talk about that.
What do you think, Wiggins?
Imagine.
Oh, for sure. Like I would be salty for sure if I was still in the NFL locker room right now and some schmuck rookie came in and already made $10 million in playing, and like that hasn't even touched what I made for the last 10 years in the NFL. So it's like, I mean, Caleb Williams is making more money than Brock Purdy. It's crazy. Like, right? Like
that is true.
If you look at it like that, like he's playing Colorado, University of Colorado, and Brock Purdy's lining up against Michael Parsons. Like, come on, like,
and he's making like a third of what Caleb's making. Now Brock's gonna get his deals, right?
No doubt.
He's got the side deals, but at the end of the day,
so is Caleb.
It's like, he's getting his plenty of side deals too. So like that was part of the move. Is like, you want to come from the university, we're gonna bring you from the University of Oklahoma. We're gonna find a real estate marketing company. I think one of those people, he signed with some real estate marketing company. Here's $1 million. You're going to do this, this, and this for us. And the guy's like, he's in Monaco at the Formula One races, and he's at this place doing this and this fashion show doing this. Like, dude, they're put on the pedestal. And I get it. College football is a huge market. There's plenty of people in this country that know more college football players than maybe NFL players. because here outside of California, like college football is massive.
In the South, it's the biggest thing they have.
It's massive. It's not even close to what it is here, and that's their life. So, like they put those guys like, yeah, you should be making money. Brock Bowers at University of Georgia. He's from California. He's the Georgia tight end, projected top recruit. Like, I don't even want to know what that guy's making. But those guys walk around campus and like, you are the guy. Like, I think these days, I was thinking about this in the car the other day. I grew up a USC fan. Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, like those guys were like the heroes to me. I watched them all the time.
Gods.
So I'm thinking in the car the other day, I'm like, dude, how much money, one, would those guys be making these days? And two, as good as USC was back then, how good would that USC team be now with the portal stuff? Like, you want to talk about Bama being really good. Like, everybody. USC was the biggest show in town at the time. Can you imagine all the players that would have just been leaving the top universities to go play with Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart and be in LA and be living the Hollywood luxury life? Like, I don't think those guys would have lost a game for 4 or 5 years straight. Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it.
Do you think this helps USC in their kind of, not, I guess you can't say recruiting process because you don't have to recruit, but the portal or whatever, like, come to Hollywood, come this.
100%.
Like, that's like, we have more money than other schools have. They might not have money, but the town has more money. No,
there's articles now of like what schools, like Oregon has the biggest donor base. University of Oregon, I think they have like $900 something million coming in every year for the donor base, plus the Nike backing and all that stuff. Now, when you talk about, we'll use USC as an example versus Salt Lake City, right? Is Caleb Williams worth more at USC than he is being in Salt Lake City? Absolutely. 100%. Like, the market is way different. Cam Rising won the last 2 Pac-12 championships. He was the starter there at Utah, beat Caleb Williams multiple times. Caleb Williams is making $3.5 million or whatever, $3 million down there at USC. Cam Rising's making $700,000 there in Salt Lake City. And so I get it, he's not a Heisman guy, but just the market's completely different. Even being at UCLA, like UCLA they've been good the last couple of years. But historically, I wouldn't say on the same level as USC, obviously, but they're worth more in that market than somebody that's at, a ranked school like, I don't even know, what would be like another, like Texas Tech. Like that as big as Texas Tech might be in the college football world. UCLA might not be as good, and I'm just speculating. I'm just saying. You
can even look at like Alabama.
Bama's changed, like completely. Tuscaloosa, but that program with those uniforms and the coach that's there, and everybody knows Alabama football. And the
history.
It's
still not LA.
But it's still not LA. And you're seeing that change with Bama this year. Like, Bama's football team is not as sexy because the portal. Guys go to Bama, 5-star sitting on the bench. They don't like it. Guess what? Now I get a free transfer to USC. I get a free transfer to Georgia.
Well, because Bama had all the 5 stars.
Because they had them and they couldn't leave. So they're signing those 5 stars every year. So it's like this running back and this running back leave. We got 3 more 5 stars right behind them every single year.
That's interesting.
Now I'm not playing. Screw it. I'm gone. I'm going to go start at another school. Yeah. And then I can go play, rush for 1,500 yards at a slightly smaller school, and then bounce the next year and go to another school
and get another 500 grand
and just keep on stacking it. The crazy thing is out of high school. That's the wild thing to me. Wow. How much money these kids get.
Yeah, shoot, especially
Arch Manning and stuff like that.
Yeah, and a 17-year-old kid, because people are graduating. Like, you graduated at 17 years old. Could you imagine graduating high school, getting all this money?
Cars, money,
for me, I understand. I understand it a little bit, because baseball, you get drafted out of high school. Football, you can't come out of high school. Basketball, you used to be able to come out of high school. Now you can't. But baseball, a lot of draft guys come out of high school, and they're 17 years old, going in the first round, signing for $3, $4, $5 million. Yep. So for me, I see it all the time. It's not that big a deal. I see an 18-year-old kid showing up to Instructs in, a brand new M6 BMW, and he hasn't done shit. Now, he doesn't have to deal with the big leaguers, though. So it's different. You guys are talking about college players making money. We see that first rounder come in that just signed for $6 million. He's got the money. He's got the deals. But he doesn't have to deal with the veterans because they're in a completely different facility. So they get kind of worn out as they go. AA, AAA, they start to get it, and then the big leagues, they've learned a little bit more.
Yeah.
So now they have a lot more respect.
Yep.
So then they don't get it as much in the big leagues because they've kind of earned it. They didn't show up that hot shot driving this fancy Range Rover straight into the big league locker room. They kind of had time to grow up a little bit.
You're going to see it, though. It's happening out of high school, though, too. So it's like Caleb Williams has done what he's done at USC, and then you got a couple of other recruits that are coming in out of high school that are top recruits, and they're promised X, Y, and Z, and they're making all this money when they haven't done nothing at the college level yet. So it's like the same as the NFL thing. So it's going to be chaos for a few years, but at some point or another, I'd like to think that it's going to come
we could
down.
talk about this
for all day.
There's so much, and there's multiple sports. There's other sports. You can talk about everything. So your wife's from Fireball.
Yep.
There's another person from Fireball, Josh Allen.
Yep.
Everybody knows. Well, everybody that knows you knows that you know Josh Allen. Boys with Josh Allen.
Yeah. Josh. Right? Josh is a.
How did that relationship come about?
Yeah, I met Josh when he was a junior in high school. So like 2013, when I started doing stuff on the side, little quarterback training on the side, I met Josh. Right when I moved back, he's best friends with my little brother-in-law, and then honestly, just started doing little stuff with him here and there, and we became good friends, and he went to Reedley College. I tried to help him out with recruiting in high school, so I sent out hundreds of emails, got responses to like 2 emails, and then nobody wanted them. And then I still have a lot of those emails, and I sent it. Who's the one? I don't know. I'm not even going to say the school that responded. I don't want the coaching staff to get hammered for it. And then he went to Reedley College. Didn't even start the first 4 games there. Kid in front of him, I think, was like screwing off one game. They throw Josh in. Hurdles the middle linebacker like he's doing in the NFL now. Doing the exact same stuff, and then gets an offer from Wyoming. Starts his first year there. I remember I was on my honeymoon, and his mom had texted us. He broke his collarbone trying to run over a safety. It's like sent the X-ray picture, and then the next year goes and starts, and like it's been a crazy path, but like doing stuff with him and seeing him, like the difference. And I've talked about it. I talked about it with Bray, and he could probably attest to it as well. It's like even you with the baseball guys. It's like it's so. Like, there's probably never going to be another Josh Allen out of Fireball. That's just reality. Like, the odds are stacked. To get to where he is at, yes, he's talented. Yes, he has the arm strength. Yes, he's got every ability that you could want from an NFL quarterback, size, etc. To get to the point he's at, like, some people don't believe in luck, but, like, the stars have to align. Like, the stars, it's going to take a little bit of luck. The timing of it has to be right.
Timing.
The timing is huge. Like, you could go to a school as a 5-star dude, and then somebody else shows up, especially now. Somebody else shows up. Well, you're not the 5-star anymore. You're not playing. You leave. Things, you go to another school. You don't know the offense as well. You shit the bed, and then just things didn't work out for you. There's going to be a million of those guys. But there's 20. I saw a stat. There's like 26,000 people in the NFL ever, or something like. You could fill up half of Fresno State Stadium with the amount of people that have ever been in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Like, the stars have to align, and the timing has to be right. Some luck, hard work, all of those things have to play into it. And then there's still like 0.5% or less than 1% of all college athletes that end up making it and are on a roster in the NFL or practice squad, whatever it may be. So, yeah, seeing Josh's whole process from high school to the NFL, it's been crazy. And I think it didn't really set in at first, but I think once they won their playoff game, I think it was 2020, they won a playoff game, I think in 2020, and they came back, or they didn't even win the playoff, but they won the division, and they flew back into Buffalo, and everybody's like out there on the runway at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're chanting like MVP, MVP, and I was like, holy smokes, like, now it's real. It's not real. I treat him just like I treat you guys. He's just a friend, and I treat him like a brother, and we talk crap and have fun and golf. And then, when we're training on the field, it's the same. I train him the same as I train Bray or anybody else. I don't see him as what he is to everybody else. And then that day when I saw everybody chanting back at the airport, I was like, okay, like, this is kind of different now. It's a little bit different. It's weird. And then now it's like back to normal. Like you see him on the Madden cover. My son pops in Madden every day, and we see him on TV, and you see him do interviews, and it's just like watching anybody else on TV. But everybody else from the outside looks at it like, holy smokes. And I think I've become numb to it at this point, like as far as being around the pro athletes, like being around you guys. Like when I was a kid, I would have been the same as everybody else. Like the high school guys ask all the time, or like if Josh calls, FaceTimes, whatever, they want to see him. And I'm like, dude, it's just another person. But I remember being that guy, like the untouchables for me back in the day, like Barry Bonds, even still, Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., even JT Snow. I was a big Giants fan. Like JT Snow played first base for the Giants. Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, like those were, and they still are the untouchables. We went to the golf tournament a couple years ago in Tahoe, and Josh introduced me to a couple guys. I met Kelsey there, Steph Curry there, and those guys were all cool. But then we're walking up to the clubhouse, and he yells for Jerry. Jerry Rice is walking to the clubhouse, and we're behind. He like yells and he stops. He's like, yeah, I just want to introduce you to my buddy Greg. He's a longtime Niner fan, and I remember meeting Jerry Rice, and I shook his hand. I'm like, holy shit, like his hands were huge. And that to me was like, I saw every Hall of Famer you could imagine, but then I got to meet Jerry Rice, and I was like, that was the untouchable for me. Like Josh was just like another slap that day to me.
It's something different when there's like the guys that you idolize.
Yeah, the guys. And every one of the guys, Ozzie Smith was there. Jerome Bettis was there.
You got to caddy for him in the tournament one time,
I caddied for Josh in 2019 there. And that was a good time. Like, that was a huge party. Hopefully I'll go back at some point or another, obviously with kids and chaos. And it's just the work life. Like, it's been a little bit different than having just one kid and going out there. So when we did go, it was fun. But it was, like, as a friend and as I guess caddying for him, like playing caddy for 2 days straight, like the stuff that they deal with, or the stuff that you guys deal with as pro athletes is just like, dude.
I don't deal with the stuff Josh deals with.
No, it's just like the people are assholes. Like there's sports fans are just assholes in general. Like they don't care. Like Josh is on the range. He's obviously not a professional golfer, and he's on the range and he's hitting balls, and like he didn't play that great. So we're on the range post round, and he's hitting like a 7-iron, and I remember he hit one. He probably doesn't even want me to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. Like he hit one. There was an ambulance, like the ambulance tent, medical tent off to the right, like way off to the right. And he just hosel rockets one straight into the back of the ambulance. Like it was almost like not even 90 degrees. It was probably like 75 degrees to the right. Like it was way out of the way. And he hits one over there, and there's fans behind, and they're like, like fans of other teams, and they're like talking crap to him. And I shit you not, like a minute later, he does it again, dude, and hits the ambulance like dead right, 100 yards, just piss missile, boom, like dented the back of the ambulance. And then at that point, like the first one was funny. Yeah. Then at that point, I'm like, okay, these guys are in your head, like, dude, let's just get
off the range.
Like, let's go. Like,
so me and Josh can play together.
Yeah, like sure. I grabbed, like I feel like I think at that point, like I just grabbed another one of his clubs out. Like nobody was on the range after, so he's standing there and the people are behind the ropes. Like I just grabbed a club and just like started hitting some balls like BS and like to try and get my head out of it. Like I didn't even want to hear what they were saying because I was tempted to turn around like, dude, just shut the hell up. Like, cut here. I wanted to hand somebody a club. Like, here, you do it then. You do it while everybody else is talking shit to you. Like, you do it while you don't have 8 months or 9 months out of the year where you don't even get to touch a golf club. But, like, here you go. You try and do it. So, it's funny seeing some of these people at tournaments, like, expect every athlete to just pick up a golf club and be phenomenal.
Especially golf.
We golf all know that you want to talk about doing the little things. Like, if you don't do the little things a lot in golf, you're probably not going to be that great. So
that's a humbling thing.
Very humbling.
Yeah. Golf's a great sport. Well, you got your son at a golf tournament right now. Got to go get him. We got to wrap this up for Mr. Panelli. But how we finish this with 10 questions. You have 1 minute to answer 10 questions. They're easy questions, nice and short. We did it with Dr. B last week. What did he get? 8? What'd you score? 8.2?
I don't know.
8.2. I think he's been hitting the head a lot.
What do you mean? 8.2,
Listen. So I ask the questions, you answer them to the best of your ability and as fast as you can because you only have 1 minute. Kenny's going to rate you 0 through 10 about how you answered the questions, how you looked, if you got rattled, flustered, all that stuff. So
can I pass? Can I say pass if I don't have an answer?
You have to answer it.
They're easy.
You have to answer it. Easy questions.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Israel, you got the timer? All right.
Yep.
0 through 10. 10 questions. 3, 2, 1, go. Is Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's relationship real or for publicity?
Publicity.
If you were a superhero, what would your superpower be?
Flying.
Dinner with any sports star, dead or alive. Who is it with, and what are you eating?
Joe Montana steak.
Best thing a new quarterback just starting can do right now. Kid.
Do the little things right every day.
Favorite superhero?
Batman.
Favorite non-sports movie?
Top Gun.
If you can be any animal in the world, what would it be?
A lion.
3 essential foods for surviving on a deserted island.
Protein. Some sort of protein. Water. I don't know. Vegetation.
If you can eat, if you only had one thing to eat all day, every day, what would it be?
Breakfast.
You suck.
I don't know.
Other than football, what's your favorite sport? 5 seconds.
Golf.
Okay. 10 questions.
Gosh.
How much time did
That
you have
was
left on the
brutal.
clock?
That was bad? I felt like that was pretty good.
Okay, minute and 12 seconds.
Oh, that
so you
goes
went
into
12
it. That goes
seconds
into
over.
Man, I felt like that
12
was good.
seconds, 2 per 1, that's 6. That's 0.6 off of your total score. Kenny, 0 through 10, how do you rank his performance?
Am I adding the 0.6 off of it already?
No,
or are
I
you
will
going
do
to?
it.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
I'm not going to lie, that was bad.
That was
I
rough.
felt like that was good.
That was rough.
Dr. B did way better. He crushed it. He had an
Yeah.
answer like this, pop, 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 and
Yeah.
he got an 8.2. Now, it's just like port noise,
You got
0
me on the,
through
you
10.
got me on the damn on a deserted island. Like, what am I gonna stay? A fucking full court 9-course meal?
Shoot, he answered
3
it.
foods. He was like
3 foods.
Yeah, he was like
What did he say?
steak.
Steak, mango, and something else?
Yeah, coconut water. That's what he
Coconut
said.
water.
Steak?
Easy.
On
Yeah.
an island?
Yeah.
You have 3 choices.
I didn't say that you couldn't have Uber Eats. You know?
You could say
All right.
pizza.
All right.
I was, I thought about it for a second. That's why I was like, a protein? I don't know. What are you gonna have to find some bullshit on the island?
All right, what's the
All
score?
right, hit me with it.
So there's no 10s. It's like figure skating,
Dude,
just like
that was-
Barstool
that was
Sports. What do you got?
rough. I'm gonna give him a 6.4.
6.4 minus 6, that's 5.8.
Yeah,
5.8.
that's the new low.
That's the new low. That's the
I
new
wouldn't
low.
expect anything higher from you guys. Anyways. I could have nailed this shit.
That was
Yeah.
bad.
No, dude, that was
Wait till
bad.
you see Dr.
Yours
Beast,
like-
and then you'll be like, oh, okay,
fact that
8.2
you
is
got-
actually low for him.
The fact
The fact that you got
over.
over 5 is good for me. I would have gave you a 3.7. All right.
And you were so flustered too. That
So
was like,
flustered. That's it. All right, Greg. Started making fun of you. Thanks for coming in. You're the man. Follow Greg on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Yeah, Greg Panelli.
For the best coaching
PPA.
tips, videos, all that. Follow us on Instagram. 1 Degree TP. Also TikTok, YouTube, all that good stuff. The man back there is doing big things with us.
Is he squeezy?
That's it. Until next time, take care. See you later.